Hey, look at this.
A short, curved blade.
What do you want to bet it's a match for the murder weapon? Wonder what it is.
Doesn't seem like anything a butcher would use.
You want to search the garbage?
Hey, nothing I like better than digging through a mound of chicken heads and feathers. Huh.
What'd you find?
It's the carcass of a whole rooster. It's a big one, too. Why do you suppose they just throw it away?
Maybe it died of diphtheria.
Nah, it's all cut up. Wait, let me see that blade again. I know what this is. It's a gaff. They attach these to the claws of... Hey, Mr. Huang! I think you've got some explaining to do.
Can't wait. I got a lot of customers right now.
We can talk out there if you'd rather. I'm sure they'll be interested to hear about how you're running a cockfighting ring.
Ah, cockfighting, of course. Is that, kosher? What do you think, Ray? We got enough to arrest this guy?
Yeah, I say we cuff him for the murder of Neil Jensen.
Murder? Now, wait a minute, detectives. Hold everything.
Sure, it all hangs together. Jensen owed a gambling debt to Mr. Huang here, and when Jensen can't pay up, Huang starts eyeing his Rolex. Neil, thanks for 10 wonderful years. Ellie.
You gotta believe me. I didn't kill him.
Then who did?
Ricardo Guzman, I think.
Where can we find him?
He doesn't have a fixed address. Moves around from couch to couch.
Take this guy in.
Wait, I got his cell number.
What luck. I'm glad you know how to follow instructions, Mr. Huang, because we've got a little job for you. Okay, Huang, you remember what we told you, and this ought to go down quick and painless.
He's gonna kill me, you know, when he finds out I'm working with the police.
By that time, he'll be in custody. That is, as long as you play it cool and take your cues from us.
Yeah?
Ricardo, it's Huang.
Hey, what's the matter, man? You sound funny.
Everything's fine.
Everything's fine. The cops are gone, and they're not coming back.
I still say you sound nervous. They find anything?
Not enough to arrest you.
Enough to make them suspicious, but not enough to get you in trouble, I think.
So what am I supposed to do, man? We got another fight coming Tuesday. You know I can't cancel it. I'm on the hook to Menendez. $5,000, man, and I'm broke.
Hold the fight in a new location.
Better not hold the fight at the shop. Too risky. You gotta find a new location.
Where, man? I don't know nobody with that kind of space.
Tell him you do.
I do. My cousin Lou runs a body shop in Park Slope. Let me talk to him.
See, you're a pal, man.
Now tell him you'll meet him later.
Let's meet up later once everything's squared away.
Where?
Somewhere by Pulaski Bridge, 6 p.m.
That street corner. Over by the bodega and the pharmacy. On 21st by Pulaski Bridge. Around 6?
See, sounds like a plan. See you there.
You done good, Mr. Huang.
We'll take it from here.
Wang, over here.
Sorry, Huang is indisposed at the moment. Ricardo Guzman, you are under arrest for the murder of Neil Jensen. You have the right to remain silent. Anything you say can and will be used against you.
Mr. Guzman doesn't dispute the cockfighting charges. We're prepared to plead guilty on that one.
Está insultando la República Dominica.
Let me. My client is not a murderer, Mr. McCoy. Mr. Jensen died as a result of an accident.
An accident.
He attempted to handle an armed bird, and he lost control of it.
Really? Unbelievable. A man gets carved up like a side of beef. Guzman lets him slowly bleed to death, then dumps him on a doorstep and expects to walk away.
I checked with the Dominican consulate.
And?
He's wanted there for drug running and armed robbery.
Well, I want him here for murder.
Is it possible it really was an accident?
Does it matter? Neil Jensen didn't have to die. Guzman had 2 hours to get help and he callously stood by. Murder 2. Depraved indifference.
Mr. Guzman, when did you first meet Neil Jensen?
Maybe a year ago, I guess.
Who initiated the relationship? You or him?
He did. I didn't want to have no part of him, man. Not at first. What I do, I gotta be careful who I let in. Can bring trouble, you know? Especially a white guy.
Mr. Jensen came to you with an offer, is that right?
Yeah, he had a bird, and he wanted me to help him raise it and fight it.
And at first you said no?
That's right.
I object. Assuming facts not in evidence.
I don't see how that objection applies here. Overruled.
What convinced you to take Neil Jensen under your wing, as it were, in spite of your suspicions?
He knew cockfighting ain't how they make it out to be, you know?
It's a more civilized practice than people realize, you mean?
Objection, leading.
Sustained. Strike that.
What sort of sentiments did Mr. Jensen express to you?
Well, like, cocking's a real sport. It takes dedication and discipline. And you know, it can teach you a lot about life if you let it.
So you agreed to keep the bird and help him raise it?
See, together we raised El Jefe, and together we conditioned him to fight. He was a good bird.
Why don't you tell us, in your own words, what happened on the night of Tuesday, May 5th?
Well, Neil come in that night really keyed up, man, like super keyed up. He was jumping all around. I think maybe he was on something.
Objection. Speculation.
Sustained. Strike that from the record. Watch yourself, Mr. Guzman. Please confine your description to actual events.
Go on.
Well, he was excited, you know, because El Jefe was finally gonna fight. There were some other birds up first, but he couldn't sit and watch, man, pacing around, till his turn finally came. Okay, I tell him, I'm the handler. I'm experienced at this stuff. Let me do it.
Get the bird into the ring.
The pit, yeah. It could be dangerous, you know, especially with the long heel.
A long blade attached to the rooster's spur.
Right, but Neil wouldn't hear nothing I was saying, man. Being he was a rider, he had to do everything himself. Well, anyway, he's yelling about how he had to be the one to handle El Jefe. I told him don't. I ordered him even, but he really got in my face about it, man, so I had to back down. Then he went for the rooster, like he was going for a football or something. Grabbed it around the neck. You understand, this is a bird was being conditioned to fight. The bird goes crazy.
It attacked Neil Jensen. Naturally, you were horrified.
Objection, leading.
Sustained.
How did you feel?
Horrified, naturally. I made a grab for the bird and got it.
Putting yourself in considerable danger in the process, I imagine.
Objection, Your Honor. Speculation.
Are we listening to the same testimony? Overruled.
But by the time I got the rooster under control, the damage was done.
I see. So what then? What did you do for him?
I wrap a blanket around him to try stop the bleeding, you know?
Did you think to take him to the hospital?
Yeah, that's what I wanted to do, but he told me not to. He wanted me to take him home.
Mr. Jensen asked you to take him home.
Mm-hmm. His wounds, I mean, he was cut up pretty bad, but not so bad as all that. He should have pulled through, no problem.
Objection. No expert knowledge. Considering the outcome, I think we can conclude that Mr. Guzman's assessment of the situation is off.
Sustained. Facts only, Mr. Guzman.
You swore on the Bible you'd tell the truth, Mr. Guzman.
I'm telling the truth. I panicked maybe. You would have done the same. But I did what Neil asked me to do. What I thought would save his life.
Your witness, Mr. McCoy.
Mr. Guzman. The incident in question occurred on the night of May 5th.
That's right. Maybe 1:45.
1:45. And you say you acted to save him?
Of course I acted. I tried to help him right there, and when I couldn't help him, I took him home, like he asked me to.
But there's a problem here. The 911 call is time-stamped 4:03. 2 hours after the incident, Mr. Guzman. Under the circumstances, it's fair to ask, couldn't your response have been a little more prompt?
Hijos de puta mentirosos.
I'm sorry, Mr. Guzman.
It's a mistake. Someone's not telling the truth.
Are you suggesting 911 got the time wrong?
Or somebody.
You knew it was dangerous for Neil Jensen to handle his own rooster.
Sure it was dangerous. When those birds are ready to fight, man, they're ready to fight.
Then why didn't you stop him?
I tried, man, but like I said, he wouldn't take no for an answer.
Mr. Guzman, you took Mr. Jensen into your confidence, initiated him into your illegal activities. Knowing your new disciple was a writer, didn't you worry that he'd give the game away, expose your ring, and force you to shut down operations?
Well, sure I was worried, but he promised me he'd keep quiet. And he wouldn't write anything neither, unless I okayed it first.
And you trusted him?
Yeah, he respected me, man.
Well, it doesn't seem like he respected you very much on the night he died. I mean, he defied you. He disobeyed your orders to stay away from the rooster.
Yeah, I guess that's right.
Let's get back to those final moments, shall we? Maybe this time we can get the facts straight. You drove Neil Jensen home.
Like he asked me to.
And you dropped him off at the door. What time was that? 4 o'clock?
More like 2.
Did you stay with him till he was safely inside?
No.
No. You dumped him there and took off. Why, Mr. Guzman?
I heard a baby crying as I was coming up the walk with Neil, and I saw a light turn on, so I knew she was up. I was sure she was gonna come down and get Neil.
Yes?
But I didn't want to have to be there and explain it all to her, you know?
No, I expect you didn't. No further questions. Want to take this one, Abby?
The people call Ellie Jensen to the witness stand. Mr. Guzman has testified that at the time he dropped Neil Jensen on your doorstep, he judged that the victim's wounds weren't life-threatening, that he could have been saved with proper care. What's your opinion?
Objection! No expert knowledge.
Objection sustained.
Was your husband in the habit of consorting with dangerous characters? I'm afraid he was. He was a writer, you see, and sometimes his curiosity got the better of his prudence. I always told him that one day he'd end up with a knife in his back, but...
Objection! Immaterial. Mrs. Jensen's speculations about her husband have no bearing on this case.
Agreed. Objection sustained.
Mrs. Jensen, tell us how you discovered your husband on the night in question. Well, I heard a sort of a thunk coming from outside the front door. Did it wake you up? No, it wasn't loud enough for that, but luckily I was awake. Noah, my baby, had just waked me for his usual feeding. That at least conforms to Mr. Guzman's testimony. What condition was your husband in when you found him? It was horrible. He was covered in blood, and he had this look in his eyes like he knew he was dying. I kept saying, "Who did this to you? Who did this to you?" But all he could do was move his mouth. I think he was saying, "I'm sorry." And there was nobody with him? Nobody. He was all alone. Now this is crucial. Mrs. Jensen, what time did you discover your husband? Just before 4 a.m. You're absolutely sure? Yes. I glanced at the clock when my baby cried at 5 minutes too. He always wakes up at the same time. Thank you, Mrs. Jensen.
So you finally come around, eh, Harlan?
If that's the way you want to look at it, Jack.
Great. What are you looking for?
No jail time. Mr. Guzman pays a fine and does 12 months probation.
Come on, he killed a man.
Actually, a rooster killed a man.
He sat idly by for 2 hours and let an innocent man bleed to death. Man 1, he served 7 to 15 years, plus a $2,500 fine for cockfighting. How about it, Mr. Guzman?
2 to 5 years in prison, court probation, and admittance to a program for gambling addiction.
Gambling addiction? That's hardly the worst of Mr. Guzman's habits. I'll take the deal.
Really, Jack?
This is the best we're going to get at this point. Counselor, the people accept Mr. Guzman's plea.
Good work, Jack. You managed to put a pin in that case without dragging it out.
I wasn't sure Guzman was gonna go for it. That guilty plea hung on his lips for about 5 minutes, it seemed like.
Probably still considers himself innocent. The mind can rationalize just about anything.
Counselors, I just wanted to thank you for putting Neil's killer behind bars. He deserved a longer sentence, if you ask me. Surely, but, well, I can't dwell on that. Vengeance. It's not healthy. Life goes on, you know?
Vengeance might not be healthy, but is sometimes necessary. Guzman got off too easy.
Let it go, Jack. We got another 60 cases lined up this month alone.
How about we grab lunch? You still on that diet?
Nope, ditched the health food, and, Julia.
Right on schedule.
And I feel great.
Any preferences?
Nope, I'm up for anything, except chicken. For some reason that doesn't appeal to me today.